Many of you know that my monitor of choice is an LG Ultrawide. It provides an ideal workspace for editing videos, and most games I play at this point natively support 3840 by 1600 resolution. However, I wouldn't say that the model I'm using, which is the 38UC79, is suited for serious gamers. With its high price of $1,500, refresh rate of only 60Hz and a 5 millisecond response time. But the good news is that manufacturers have finally noticed the growing demand for ultra-wide gaming monitors. And that's where the LG 34UC79G comes in, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to call it the 79G instead. It's a lot more affordable at $700, has a 2560 by 1080 IPS panel with a 144Hz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time. It's also FreeSync ready and comes with a handful of software additions geared towards gamers. But does LG achieve what they set out to do with the 79G? Let's find out. Compared to other LG ultrawides, I would say that this is more aggressive than elegant, with its geometrical stand and accompanying red accents. It actually feels well put together with its plastic body, and because of this material choice, it comes in at 19 pounds, 14 pounds without the stand. So on the back we get HDMI 2.0 ports, DisplayPort 1.2, a USB 3 pass-through that gives us 2 additional USB 3A ports, and then you get the audio jacks and of course the DC power input. Fun fact, USB port 1 is actually quick charge enabled, which is something I've seen before, and I've found this to be extremely convenient if you own a device that's quick charge ready. In the box you get a single HDMI and display cable, a cable management hook, as well as a 3-prong power cable. LG didn't, however, include a pass-through cable, which is kind of a disappointment, seeing as this is a feature that comes built into the monitor, and it wouldn't have cost them that much to include it. The stand lets you move the display up 4.5 inches vertically, as well as giving adequate tilt angle. I found I could be using this sitting down or standing up without any problems. You don't get any pivot or swivel adjustment, however. And finally, the legs are super easy to install with no tools necessary, and it can also be detached and used with VESA mounting. The 34-inch IPS panel has a gentle curve to it, nothing too aggressive, and no matter what angle I was looking at it from, I didn't see any loss in quality. It also has a matte coating, so gaming in a brightly lit room posed no problem, especially if you sit next to a window where there's lots of sunlight. The panel has a resolution of 2560 by 1080p, which obviously isn't the highest when we're talking about ultrawides, but I feel like this is the perfect resolution when it comes to gaming ultrawide monitors. That way it's not as aggressive on the graphics card. I mean, considering that the response time is at 1 millisecond and 144Hz refresh rate on top of that, things wouldn't run as smoothly if there were more pixels to push. As far as backlight bleed is concerned, it is somewhat noticeable if you're in a completely pitch dark room. However, if there is some light source, then it is hardly noticeable. We must also consider the price. Now, if LG was to implement these high performance specs into a panel that was, let's say, 3840 by 1600, then the price would be certainly over $1,500. Alright, so this panel supports 8-bit color, and the color gamut covers 72% of NTSC. While I found gaming and media consumption to be enjoyable, I wouldn't recommend this panel for professionals that need the most accurate of colors, for example a 99% RGB coverage. Something else I've noticed was the low brightness when compared to other ultrawides I've tested. The panel goes up to 250 nits, which when compared to the monitor I'm using has a max brightness of 300 nits, which means that this monitor is 17% dimmer. Now, even though that's a noticeable difference on paper, I found the 79G's max brightness was adequate for my usage, but it's something to keep in mind. Something else that stands out about this monitor is all the built-in features and presets. We get several different modes that include game mode, FPS, RTS modes, cinema mode, reader mode, and of course custom. I personally selected custom and tweaked the panel settings for my needs, but it's nice to have quick access to presets for different usage. I found myself, for example, switching to reader mode often when using a monitor at night. It kind of dims things down and gives the screen a red tint to reduce eye strain. Navigation is done with the joystick that is located on the bottom, just like all the other LG ultrawides, and even till today, LG still has the best interface for their monitors. Everything is easily accessible and the joystick eliminates the need for extra buttons. I'm glad that LG hasn't changed that, and I hope other manufacturers adopt this method as well. Oh, by the way, these aren't speakers. In fact, the 79G doesn't have built-in speakers at all. Now, personally, I don't mind this one bit since I do use an external audio solution, but I could see this being a deal breaker for a lot of you guys that rely on your monitor for audio. So besides all its quirks, as stated before, the monitor was great for consumption. With its game-focused specs, the 79G brought a breath of fresh air into my gaming experience, and is definitely noticeable coming from my 38UC79. The lower lag as well as the higher refresh rate was immediately noticeable, and even the software add-ons that I thought were going to be gimmicky were enjoyable. Now, I'm not gonna make a wild statement like this monitor made me a better gamer, but it did improve my gaming experience. So in conclusion, if you take your gaming somewhat seriously and don't mind the lack of speakers or unfavorable color accuracy for content creation, then I could definitely recommend this monitor. Going back to my 38UC79 is gonna be a bit difficult, but I am a content creator first and a gamer second. If in the future LG decides to combine the specs of this gaming monitor to the monitor I'm using currently, then consider me sold. I don't mind if the prices go up a bit, but if I can get the best of both worlds, I will definitely do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.